There can only be one.
Hi guys, welcome to a Fish versus Fish, and I'm going to introduce everybody. We've got Sean Peck right here, we've got Paul right here, and Whip right there. Thank you guys for all joining me tonight and doing this. I'm going to go. I can't go to the comments because I've got to be able to pop my fish.
I can do it.
Oh.
I can do at least some of them.
Okay, well,
Nancy B is first in the room, and she's got a $5 super chat for you right off the bat. No Scalpy tonight. I'm getting my first Episto trio this weekend at the MCAS meeting. I need to make caves. And then if you needed to do something before I went on, you can go ahead and do it.
Well, I should I've got a really cool Episto cave type deal that I ought to make her. And because it's so easy. And it's just crazy easy. I learned it from Mitchell Broomer. And is it Mitchell Broom? I think it's just Mitchell Broom. And how he does his Episto.
Brune.
Oh, man.
Ed's like, shut up.
Wow. I didn't know it was that fancy. Well, he's such a nice guy. I think he prefers to be called Mitchell, and I accidentally call him Mitch all the time to his face. And I'm like, why do I keep calling him Mitch? But,
again,
well.
You're always looking to instigate stuff, Ed.
Oh, Wick forgot to turn off his water, I bet. He's overflowing in one of his tanks.
Oh, no.
What? So this week, our special fish, we are going to figure out what is the best loach. And I've picked 10 of the most popular loaches. There might be some that are more popular. I don't know. There was one that I added to it. Like I watched a couple different people's top 10s, and none of them added one that I really like, so I put it in. and then I took some of their other loaches and I kind of combined them because they're so close to being cousins and whatnot. You know what? Let's just kick it off. And this is one that I combined 3 different loaches because people said the common, the silver, and the black. The Coolie Loach. The Coolie Loach. Okay. So, the Coolie Loach, they come in a variety of colors. We saw that was the traditional striped one that we all love. But they also come in black and silver. And there might be just a blush brown one. I'm not for sure. But they kind of like softer pH. I didn't realize that. They like a pH between 6 and 7. They eat virtually everything, but they won't be a worm or a snail eater. They might eat like their eggs and stuff, but they're not going to actually get into the snails and eat the big snails. They get to 3 to 4 inches long. They like temperatures of 75 to 85. A lot of these loaches I learned today, they like warmer water. I did not realize that loaches were such warm fish. And they live about 10 years. So that's just a little bit of the stats on the Coolie Loach. What I don't like about I think Coolie Loaches are cool, but what I don't like is they're nocturnal, so they hide. And like, you might see one somewhere, but you lift up a rock and there's 8 of them under there, or a tree or something in your fish tank, so now Sean, he has a fish tank where you actually see the loaches all the time. So we'll let him talk about that in a second, or give your opinion. This is Sean's first time doing Fish versus Fish, so he's just been thrown into the fire. You don't have to talk as much as I am about the loach. I'm going to give off my opinion of the Coolie Loach. I'm going to give a Coolie Loach a level 7. And then, Sean, you've got Coolie Loaches right now, so we'll let you go next.
Yeah, I've kept. I think I've got 4 black coolie loaches, the kind you get from maybe PetSmart or something, in my steampunk tank, and that tank in particular is very warm because it's all enclosed in wood, basically, with little portals to look through. It's so dark in there. And it's all sand on the bottom. And what's great and what I love about coolie loaches is when they are active, they really keep your sand looking nice and clean. Like, so if you've got a sandy bottom, they dust it. Like, they keep it all nice and clean. They love to dig. In my opinion, you really need to have sand as a substrate for coolies because they really seem to sift through the sand and enjoy that. And mine come out whenever I feed them. So if I add food in there and then I kind of step back a little bit, there's just like all this activity all of a sudden. It's great for the steampunk tank because it's meant to kind of look like a weird experiment, like a mad scientist lab kind of thing. And I did just, for the label, I just put danger noodles. So it's a little tongue in cheek. I have a striped coolie loach in this little tank over here too, which is also sandy on the bottom. I've had a terrible time trying to keep the striped ones alive. Like, for some reason, my black ones are hard as nails, but the little banded ones I've had a lot of trouble with. So,
Bummer. Well, what do you score them between a 1 and a 10? 10 is your favorite of all time, and you can give more than one fish the same score.
right.
So it's not like you have to keep track of what you've given.
I particularly love the coolie loach, and I'd probably give it an 8.
An 8? All right. Oops. Oh my gosh, I'm like writing my score where it doesn't even matter. Okay. I was putting it in an empty column. Okay, Paul, do you have any opinions on coolies?
I have never had much love for them. You rarely ever see them. And like Sean said, I've had difficulty keeping the striped ones alive. I don't know what it is, but they just don't seem to be that that strong a fish. So I would have to say a 4.
Okay.
The striped ones are definitely prettier than the black ones and stuff. It just kind of turned into this brown blobby kind of color.
Almost like a dojo, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, don't give away our other loaches, dude. That may or may not be on the list.
If you're asking me, I'd probably match the 8. I like them.
You like them?
I just I wish they came out more for me, and I wish they.
Yeah.
I found out the hard way. They are jumpers, which I didn't realize they were, because I had them at the time in a 14-gallon cube, rimless, lidless, and I found more than
spaghetti
half
on the floor.
Yeah, dried up and nasty. That was unfortunate, but I didn't really have too much trouble keeping them alive if they'd stay in the dang tank. But they usually would eject themselves in the middle of the night. And then they were a crispy noodle on the.
No bueno.
Yeah. I also like the ones. I think it's a cousin to them. It's got to be the same species, but they are the what do they call giant coolies, which are not really giant, but they're probably maybe half again as big. And if you watch Primetime Aquatics, he sells them from time to time. At the swaps, they're pretty cool. I mean, they're a good size, and they're not gonna eat anything with any kind of size to it. But I like the way those look too. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's where
now. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I'm good.
Now, I forgot to mention this. This is where the audience also gets their opinion in here. And when you see Paul say start, you got or type in start. Awesome. put in between 1 and 10, and then when he says stop, I'm going to roll these dice, and we're going to see what two people get their opinions added. So
I don't see where you wrote start.
do
Where'd you
we
write?
have at least
It's
10
way up
people?
in the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Ed told me as soon as he takes the picture off, hit start. I hit start.
Okay, that works. And I mean, if you think that that's too much time, it's whenever you want to do it.
That's it.
The rules are loose and easy here.
They're very
loosey-goosey
loose.
here.
So here we go. Hit stop, and here they go. Well, that was easy.
All right, we're doing
The first
stop.
person and the 8th person. So who was the first or the 8th person or the first, whichever you want to go. Whip will let you
First
be
and
the
8th?
eyeballs.
Oh, the
Yeah,
first
first and
one
eight.
was Dennis Christensen. He was like right on it. He
What
came
did
up with a
Dennis say?
7. And what did you say? The 8th?
Yeah, 8.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to count from 8. The 8th person who gave us a number. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uncle Smiley.
Hey,
Gave him a
Uncle
10.
Smiley. Oh, a
Gave
10.
a 10. Dennis
And
gave a
it
7.
is-
Uncle Smiley gave a 10.
That
Hello,
pushes.
Kitty.
That's a nice 44 score for the
Banana.
Cooley. That's a nice roll or a nice
Juanita?
pick.
That is.
And
Yeah, see?
it's good to see Uncle Smiley. He's been under the weather, and we're glad that he's back. I got to meet him down in Atlanta, and he's an
Shady.
awesome dude.
Brother Dan. Babs.
And let's see, we're going to go to the next one. The clown loach. The clown loach. Even though you can't see the end of the clown. Okay, I kind of messed up.
Okay, I hit
with-
start,
I
Ed.
didn't realize. Okay, I didn't realize Nico's thumbnail would be in the way. Hopefully, it's not too many of the words. But if you're at home and you've never heard of the clown loach, they're awesome. The thing with clown
Nancy's
loaches
not a
is
fan.
she doesn't like them. The clown loach lives about 30 years. That's a long-lived
Ooh.
fish. They like temperatures of 77 to 85 degrees. They get up to about a little over a foot long. So they become huge fish. But they're slow growers because they're 30-year-old dudes. But still, if you're going to get them, buy the big tank before you get the fish. Because what happens is when people buy monster fish, thinking, well, I'll buy a monster tank later, things come up and they never get the fish. So it's better to just get the tank if you know you're going to get the monster. And they like a pH that's really in the middle of things, very neutral. They like between 6 and 7.5. So they're a pretty easygoing fish there. And they literally eat everything. So they are going to be a big snail eater. They like to be in groups. They like to have a lot of fun and mash into each other. So they're fun to watch. And that's why they get the clown name. So I love clown loaches. I wish I had a mega tank so I could get a big group of them. I'm going to score them a 9. I really think they're iconic to the loach, and I like them. Okay, well, now this time I'm going to go around the horn the opposite way, and we'll get Paul's opinion. What do you think, Paul?
Well, for all the things you said, they start out small and they turn into tank busters. So they're to be properly housed. You're probably looking at a 180-gallon tank. They don't keep that color. They lose that orange and they kind of turn into a muddy brown. They're not from what I've seen, they're not an aggressive fish, but I don't think they're appropriate for most people to have. So just on that fact alone, I'm a 3.
Wow. Well, that's totally fair. I mean, there are 3 for me right now, but since I love them, they're getting a 9, but I'm not keeping them because I don't have a monster tank.
Oh, they're great fish.
Okay,
Personality-wise, they're great, but they don't belong in most people's tanks.
Yeah,
If
I
they
got you.
stayed this big, they'd probably be the best. They probably be pushing catfish, Corey's out the door because they got nice color. But
Yeah, who cares about Corey's then? Okay, what do you say, Whip?
Oh, I'm gonna go probably low as well, just because they don't do anything for me. I mean, they're fine. I don't know. I'd probably go 5, just right in the middle of the road.
Wow.
They get big, but they don't come out much. You know, they hide a lot. You can have like 27 of them, and they're all hiding in a log. I don't know. They're cool looking when you see them.
And this is coming from
And
a
I'm
monster fish
hypocritical
pond.
about that, because I love my my black ghost knife, and I never see that one. But so I guess whatever. But
Okay, that's cool. Well, what say you, Sean?
Yeah, I think some fish are more fun to go looking for than others, especially if you can predict where they're going to go, like the knife fish and stuff. But I have to give them a. I think I'm going to go with Paul and go to 3, and not because I don't like them, but there's a couple of reasons why I can't keep them. Even I've got a 210, and I still don't feel like that would be big enough to keep a school of them. And I are they shoaling fish or schooling fish? Some of these loach,
they're
I would
kind
say
of
more shoaling.
shoaling. They're not tight. They're not these tight schoolers. Like they look like a bunch of birds that all move at the same time. They like to be in the same area, but they're not tight schoolers.
But I think they like company. And so
Yeah,
when
they'll all squeeze into the same hole.
So you got a bigger fish that likes to be not alone, and it eats plants.
is it a plant eater too?
Yeah, it'll put big holes
They eat
in your.
everything.
Yeah, they'll put big holes in your Amazon sword plants and stuff like that. So I'd probably compromise at 5 if it wasn't for that. That crosses the line. You're not eating my plants. So great snail eaters, like they'll decimate a snail population in no time, and really attractive when they're young. But you got to commit to a really long lifespan, and there's very few fish I want to do that with.
30 years is a long.
It's a long time.
So I see more big clown loaches being rehomed at pet shops or LFSs. They're just there. People bring them in. I can't keep them anymore.
What's great with really good local fish stores that have not for sale fish, so you can see what they look like when they're full grown. Like at least one of the places in town has these huge ones, and seeing that right when I got started in keeping fish kept me from ever buying them, because I knew what the end result would be if I was successful. So that's what my number's for.
Well, there's our numbers.
Okay,
3
wait a minute, Ed, I got to hit stop.
I think they stopped.
All right, go ahead. I hit stop.
Okay, well then we'll re-roll it because I love rolling dice.
I know
1 and 2 ones. That means a re-roll.
Snake eyes.
A 3 and an 8.
All right, I got to find people who actually put numbers in. Give me a minute.
Nancy B was the first with a 1.
Yeah, she was like a 1. Geek Boy is 1.
Wow.
And Dennis. All right, Nancy B is a 1. Now, what was it?
8.
Wow, Nancy. So I guess I'm the only person that would love to have a lobster tank with these.
Ed, give me the numbers again. 8 and what?
3 and 8. And 8.
Okay, so
3 and
3 and 8. Uncle Smiley's at 3 with a 5.
Way to go, Uncle
Dixon
Smiley.
Designs is number at 8 is 4 at number 8.
Okay, well, this one, apparently I'm the only person that likes clown loaches. I'm able to just, I was literally able to just count that, just going 29 for the clown loaches. Wow. All right. Well, let's see. What's my next loach on the list? It's the yo-yo loach. The yo-yo loach. Okay. The yo-yo loach. I have, I think, 5 yo-yo loaches. I like watching them because they are crazy goofballs, just a lot like the clown loaches, except it seems like the yo-yo is a little more under control, or maybe it's more like a cat where it rests and then goes nuts. But I enjoy the yo-yos, but they also, I used to keep them with my guppies because I overfeed my guppies so that you don't eat their fry, and I was creating way too many snails. And when the yo-yos ate all the snails, they started eating all my fry guppies, or all my fry from my guppies. So now all the yo-yos are in the tank with all my Cory colony. So they kind of got a bum deal there. I was surprised they like it hot too. 75 to 86 degrees. They get 3 to 4 inches. All mine are on the short side, and mine are all over like 2 years old. Mine are all just around 3 inches, so they're not getting to 4. They eat everything. They will literally eat everything. Like they'll eat large shrimp even. So they just won't eat large fish, but they'll eat all your baby fish. They'll eat your eggs. They'll eat your shrimplets. They'll eat your snails. So in some ways they're good, some ways they're bad. I wonder if they eat planaria.
I'm not sure.
It
They
moves,
probably
they
would.
eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a really easy pH. pH is 6.5 to 7.5. So I mean, that's a real nice middle ground fish there. I've heard that they can be aggressive. Mine aren't aggressive with each other or other fish, so that's good. But yeah. So my yo-yos, I'm gonna give a yo-yo. I think they're a fun fish. I'm gonna give them a 5. Middle of the ground fish. They're okay, but Okay, well, Sean, do you like yo-yos?
I do. Well, I'm going to give it a 6. So I have one. I have a baby one, but I have another one that's like pushing. It's got to be 13 years now. It's older than my aquarium channel. I've had them since before I started making videos, and that's 14 years or something like that. So it's enormous. It gets really fat sometimes, and instead of yo-yo, it has an 8 on the side of it. So sometimes, well, it gets really fat, and it's got the. So I call him an 8 ball. Quite a lot.
That's it.
He's a jerk face, isn't he?
He kind of is. He is the boss of my 210 right now, and I'd say he's probably maybe I have a bad judge. Like I've never like pulled out a measuring tape and measured him, but I should because he's you've seen him. You've been here.
He's a big fatty, and he's a jerk.
I forgot
all about him until you brought him up.
He hates Plecos, which is really problematic. If you like, I like to have at least a one bristlenose in the tank to help with the glass and stuff, but because I like looking at them. But yeah, he hates them, and so he's killed 2 bristlenose Plecos, and usually the really young ones can hide out from him and stuff and still be okay. But yeah, he's kind of a jerk, but I can't. I like him too sometimes. A lot of personality, but he's definitely going to be they're not the friendliest of loaches to keep. That's for sure. And they're very commonly sold. So watch out.
I've got a question for the whole panel and anybody watching. Do they have a barb on the sides of their heads? So when they slam into each other, they hurt each other more or not?
I've never seen it.
Like,
I
I
don't
was
know
wondering
about
if
that one.
loaches have barbs or not on the sides of their heads.
I
Corey's.
mean, like autos and stuff. Corey's.
Yeah, and
some Corey's have
Synodontis.
barbs on their head.
yeah, Synodontis do too. But like, because his fish will actually go right up next to the pleco and do this and just bump into the side of his body over and over.
It's called a headbutt, Ed.
Yeah, but I mean, he's like getting his whole
headbutt.
belly into the action. I mean, he might be more of a belly bump because he's such a fatty.
It's like two kids in the back seat, like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not
Not
touching
touching
you.
Well, okay. How about you, Whip? What do you think of yo-yos?
I don't know anything about them. I've never kept them. I've never wanted to keep one. I guess I'm going to go with a 3.
Okay. Well, that's fair. How about you, Whip? Oh, I almost said Whip, Paul.
Whip.
Well, Paul.
We are very
look
similar
along.
looking.
It's the hair. The hair is the same. Very similar. I actually have yo-yos. They're great snail killers. I had a tank that I
Amazing.
could not control those snails, and I cut down how much I fed, the whole 9 yards. The snails were just out of control. I put 4 of them in there. A week later, I was snail free. Hello, thank you. That being said, they will bite you. I tried to move 2 of them into another tank. They're trying to bite me through the net.
Man.
But they're hyper fish. They're constantly swimming for the most part. What they do like to do is they like Episto caves, and they go into the Episto caves and take naps. I'm going to say, because I got them to do a job, I'll give them a 7. But if you're doing breeding in the tank, you can't keep them in the tank with breeding fish. They will eat the fry. So, when I see my pistols are getting frisky, I pull them. I pull the loaches out.
They're hard to catch too.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why it's great that they go into the Episto caves. I just pick the cave up.
Oh, nice.
And then dump them into another tank.
Usually trapping them is much easier than trying to nettle or try to catch them with a net.
Yeah, so they run right into those caves. I picked the cave up. That's why they tried. I had the net over it so it wouldn't jump out of the cave, and I had my finger over the net. And he's trying to bite me through the freaking net.
Have you ever seen them lay on their sides? They'll do that too. They kind of play like they're playing dead. I don't know if they're trying to play dead, but they do. They look like they're dead, and then you go to nettle them, and they just swim away.
One thing, they wiped out my whole I wiped out the endlers. They're the really fancy endlers, Santa Fe endlers. Is that what Dan from Get Gills breeds? They're real fancy pants endler. Well, I had put 2 of those guys in to wipe out the snails, and they wiped out the snails and they started eating all the fry. So, and I couldn't catch them because they were on the very top shelf, and I'm on a ladder, and I just could not catch them because it's most of my tanks are long ways, but that one goes back, so I couldn't get it, and I couldn't ever catch them. So I made a trap, and I made it on this show, and I put the trap in there and put bloodworms in the trap. And the next day, all my endlers were in the trap dead, and all the bloodworms were gone. So that meant the coolie loach or the yo-yos went in there, ate the bloodworms, and came out, and all the stupid endlers went in there and died in the 24-hour period that I had. Every one of the endlers, not just one, every single one went in there and died.
Oh wow!
So
that's really weird.
Yeah.
Okay, Ed, I put a stop on it. Shake it up.
We've got 10-2.
All right, give me a second.
Oh,
Okay, 10-2. So J&N Aquatics at number 2 is a 5.
Awesome. We'll be talking to Jeremy in a minute. They're from Paducah. Well, we won't be talking to them, but we're going to talk about one of their fish.
Nancy B is number 10, and she's giving it an 8.
Okay. So we got 18, 21, 26, 34. Well, they're more liked than the clown loach. So now here's the fish that I mess up the name all the time. Let's see if I can find it. The Angelicus. I think I may have misspelled it. The Angelicus.
It just says
loach.
angelic.
The Angelicus. I know. I always want to say angelic, and I wrote angelic instead of saying or writing angelicus. They're just always angelic in my head. So they're also known as the polka dot. So why don't you start calling them the polka dot loach, everybody? Because angelicus is stupid. Angelic's nicer. These guys, they're kind of a newer loach on the market. I don't know if I've never had one, but everybody was raving on them. They're basically like yo-yo loaches, but nice. They have all the redeeming qualities of a yo-yo, except they're not going to eat all your shrimp. They're just going to eat your snails and your frozen food or pellets that you feed them. So, and they're also not going to aggravate other fish in your tank. So, and they are pretty. And Pogo Dot, you can see that's not a bad name for them. But let's see, they're virtually the same as the yo-yo. I mean, they get a little bit bigger than a yo-yo, but their temperature is the same. They both live 10 years. They both are right in the middle of the road for pH. So basically a yo-yo loach that doesn't say yo-yo, and they're a little nicer. So I have never had one, but just from that, I'm going to give it one more point than I did a yo. I'll give them 2 more points than a yo-yo. They're just a better yo-yo, except they don't say yo-yo on the side. So I'm going to give them 1 more point. So I gave them.
You say yo-yo,
6.
Loach.
Yo-yo. Be nice to the
Yo-yo,
Angelicus
Loach.
ones. Okay, Paul, what do you think about the Angelicus? Have you ever seen this fish? I'll pop it up. You can talk over the.
I've never seen them. You know, I do like the fact that they do a good job, and if they are less aggressive than the yo-yos, I gave the yo-yos a 7. I'll give them a 9.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Well, what say you, Whip?
what say I? I like those better than the yo-yo.
Have you seen them ever in person? I've never seen them, or I haven't paid attention.
I've seen them in pet stores. I've never had one. I've never thought about buying one, but I've always thought they look kind of cool, and just the pattern they've got. But yeah, I don't really keep too many fish that size because they just get all gobbled right up. So I don't know a whole lot about them, but I like the way they look. So I'll give it a 5.
Okay. How about you, Sean?
I had them. I had one, but it's been a while ago. I've seen them for a few years. I don't see them very often in the pet store, but they had them here at one of ours. And I took it home. Unfortunately, it didn't live as long as my yo-yo loaches have, or the one anyway. So, but it did seem very much the same, except a more interesting pattern. I only had it. It seemed like it lived for like a year or so, and then it just disappeared one day, and I never saw it again. So I assume it was consumed by the tank.
Now, you have a cat. Does your cat ever eat the fish that jump out of the tanks?
I'm pretty lidded up. I don't like doing a lot of water changes, and I don't like evaporation. So I almost
It just
never
disappeared.
find fish. Yeah, I almost never find fish. Everything's got a lid. Even all my rimless tanks, I just cut glass and put it on the top.
Gotcha.
That's what I
So, well,
should have
me
done
too.
when I was losing my coolies.
Yeah.
What was your score on that guy?
Oh, I didn't give a score, did I? I give it I give it an 8.
Wow.
All right, Ed, we're stopped.
Double ones again. That's weird. 1 and 2. That'll be easy to see.
All right, give me a
First
second.
and second. But yeah, I'm gonna start looking for them now. Because I
Uncle
really
Smiley,
never. Oh, nice. Uncle Smiley.
Uncle
He's on it,
Smiley's
right?
number 1 at 6. And Killer Katie is number 2 with a 9. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Nancy B in Tennessee. Nancy B in Tennessee is a 10.
10. Sorry, Killer. I went to my Lowe's today to go look at the Halloween costs or Halloween cool stuff, and my Lowe's sucks. It just has all this stuff from last year, but they got this really cool one they've got a couple of sea creature type ones. They've got a Kraken out at other Lowe's. They have a diver bell guy that lights up and there's a skull inside, and then they've got a dead captain that's driving a ship. And they have a mer woman. Or a mer hag or something. She had webbed fingers.
Listen, it's not even Labor Day yet.
Well, I
Too
like
too
looking
early
at
for a mer
animatronics.
hag.
It's too early for Halloween. That pumpkin spice crap, keep it for another month.
Hey, it's Merhag time somewhere.
Mer hag. Okay. Now, let's see. Did I miss one here? I did. Here's the one that I accidentally missed. The dwarf chain loach. The dwarf chain loach. Okay, let's find out about the dwarf chain loach. Another fish I've never had. They like to be in groups of like a group of them. They live 10 years. Just about all these loaches live 10 plus years. They like it hot, 77 to 86. They get to 2 inches, which I was surprised because I thought if it's a dwarf, it would stay smaller.
Dwarf is a relative term, Ed.
Yeah. And they are super easy going when it comes to water. They like waters between 6.9 to 8. So I guess hard to neutral, but wow. And they are super snail eaters also. They are like destroyers of snails. And they're supposed to be nice. So I have seen them at the pet store. I've never owned them. So I'm just that's all I have to say. I can't really give an opinion, except they kind of look neat. I'm going to pop it again because I'm just going to show you what they look like. I mean, that's a cute looking little fish. I wish it was a nano fish with the name dwarf, but I'm going to give it
It's dwarf compared to a clown loach.
a 6. I'll give it a 6. Okay, Sean, have you ever heard of these guys?
Yeah, I haven't ever kept them, but I've eyeballed them many times. How big did you say they get?
Up to 2.5 inches.
That's not bad.
They like to be in a group, though. So,
yeah, I think that's probably what kept me from getting them is that either there weren't enough of them in the tank to get a big group, or they were so expensive per fish that
what are they called again?
Dwarf chain loach. Yeah, I give it an 8. I'd really like to get some of those.
Oh, I have to sneeze.
But
I don't have to sneeze. I thought I had to sneeze.
I feel like they need a little bit more special tank because a lot of mine aren't heated anymore. So I think a lot of
That won't
these,
be
like the
fun.
yo-yos from Pakistan, I think. So it's probably really warm all the time where these things are from.
Yeah. And that's one thing I didn't do is write down where all these fish are from, because that's kind of fun too, but I didn't. So what would you give that as a score?
We'll go 8.
An 8? Okay. Paul, what do you think of this guy?
These are great fish for smaller tanks. They're not as aggressive as any of the other loaches we've talked about so far, especially like the. I don't say the yo-yos are aggressive, but they are rowdy. So they're a smaller fish. They're better in a smaller tank. Do the same job as the other loaches. They like their escargot, so I would give them a 9.
Yeah, I should have given it a better score, honestly. It's just I've never paid too much attention to them, so that's why I gave them a bad score.
They're much more they're more appropriate for a smaller tank. You got a 20 long. These are perfect fish for that size tank.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not going to change my score. I'm going to stick to it because I just didn't know enough before. But Whip, what do you think?
Whip,
Another small fish for you.
I would give it a 6, just because they're kind of expensive too. I just looked it up. They're anywhere between $10 and $20, and if you need 6 or more, you're going to be spending some cash. So,
Yeah, that's a bummer.
They must not be
Well-
too hard to breed. I see them in shops a lot.
Well, that's cool.
Okay, hit stop, Ed.
1 and 4.
1 and 4. Give me a second. Uncle Smiley's number 1 again at an 8.
Holy cow. Now, is he typed in
Grady.
his number after you say it or not?
yeah,
What's that?
he types in
That's
right
like
after.
odd.
He
It's like
pops in as
start,
soon as
and
I
then
hit
Uncle
start.
Smiley's in there.
All right, Shady Grady's number at 4 with a 7.
Pretty shady. Okay, so let me do this. 14, 23, 29, 37, 44. Whoa. So that tied the Cooley Loach for the best loach of all time.
I would like to
But
change my score to 5. I'm
I would
kidding.
like to change my score to 7. Okay.
Those
Let's see.
things are just expensive fish food for you.
What
anyway.
are we, Olympic judges here now? We change our score after the fact?
Now, here's a fish that I have 4 of, and they're in with all the other loaches. They're all my Corys and well, actually not all my Corys. I have Corys in 2 different tanks, but I've got a huge tank with Corys and loaches. The zebra loach. The zebra loach. I love zebra loaches. I really do. They're super pretty. They get a little bigger than yo-yos. They eat the snails really well. I have not seen them. They were in a tank that had about 1,000 shrimp in it, and maybe they were eating the shrimplets, but there were so many snails in that tank. I don't know. Maybe they weren't doing a very good job of eating the snail. They just go at their own pace. It's not like a human at a buffet. They just eat when they're hungry, and that's it. I don't know, but they're just super big and pretty, and I like them. And every so often, they just go, real fast to the other side of the tank. So I am going to give the zebra loach an 8 because I like zebras. Okay, well, Sean, have you ever had a zebra? Oh, I didn't give the facts on zebras. I don't know if anybody wants to hear the facts.
It's the same as the other one.
They're easier temperatured. They're 73 to 79, so they're not a real hot fish. They live 15 years, 3.5 inches, and I didn't realize they're more of a soft water fish. They like it between 6 and 6.5. I've been keeping mine at 7.2.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's all about what they get used to, I guess.
Yep.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
they
when you
acclimate.
breed them.
They adapt or they die, right? That's how it is at my place. I don't chase any water parameters.
Well, and maybe they'll never breed because it's the wrong water parameters,
Right.
But only one fish on here I've even heard of people breeding. So I'm not worried about breeding. I'm just for looks. So they're getting an 8. Okay. Now we'll go to Sean.
Yeah, I'll concur with your 8, but only totally based on your description and the way it looks in the photograph there. Because I've never seen one.
Oh,
I've never
they're
seen
pretty.
one, so I'll have to come over and take a look at that or something. That's neat.
Yeah. Now, I think that there's a couple of different types of zebras because there's some that have like brown, they're more shades of brown, and there's like thicker brown bands between all the striation type bands. Like this one kind of has like a creamy color through it, and some are like a solid brown.
Huh.
Mine are like this one, that's why I picked this one. But I see the brown ones a lot too. Actually, I have one that's brown because it was at a fish store all by itself in a fish tank, and I was like, oh, we're gonna bring him home to the other 3.
Pity
And
fish.
so that's why I'm
Well,
but
they look
rescue.
great. I'll give it an 8
Yeah,
also.
They're pretty. Okay, Whip.
I am going to ride the 8 train because I think those things are cool. How big did you say they get?
3.5 inches.
Still a little bit on the small side. I'd give them a higher score, but yeah, I like the way those things look. It's a cool
Yeah, they're
pattern.
neat. And like mine are super nice. I mean, maybe there's people that have some jerk face ones too. You just never know. But
Yeah.
and I just put your score on Paul's. Paul, can you pick an 8 also?
Would I do what?
No, I'll just put your score on Whip's.
Okay, that's okay.
So
One, they're a pricey fish. I just looked them up. They're like the cheapest I've seen them was $34 each.
Woof.
That's
Now,
probably
is that
one of
online?
the reasons why they're not very common, because they're probably a rare fish to start off with. Based on their expense, and they're basically going to do the job of a cheaper fish, I'd give them a 7.
okay.
Because basically the last 3 or 4 fish that we've talked about, they're all around that 2.5 to 3.5 inch size. They're snail assassins. They like their escargot, and they add a little movement to the tank. What I will say, they all prefer good flow. They like flow. So if you don't have a good flow in the tank, they're not going to be happy campers.
I think that's true of all of us, don't you think, Paul?
What's that?
I think that's true of all of us, don't you think?
That we need flow?
Yeah, we all need good flow.
Yeah, some of us need more flow than others.
What I think normally at pet stores, I see them closer to about 15 to 20, but I mean, it's still an expensiver fish. But I wonder if JN Aquatics, they have a fish store. Maybe I've got the one that I've gotten was at Ethan's. That's Fish Mania here in town. And I don't think I've ever seen them at Aquatic Aesthetics. So maybe I'm just totally off. And maybe Ethan just sells them way too cheap. But
okay.
JN,
All right, Ed.
sell those.
Let's see. Let hit them dice.
Okay. Oh, here
He
they are.
lost his phone.
Well, I had to move it because Nico laid down on top of the paper and phone. He likes to lay on my phone.
Damn cat.
Oh, a 5 and a 6.
6 and 5. 6 and 5. All right, give me a second.
I hope somebody says a 9 because then it'll balance out that terrible score of a 7. It'll be really
Dennis
easy for me to add
Christensen
up.
with a 7. Dennis Christensen's number 5. He gives them a 7.
Dennis.
And what was the other one?
5 and 6.
What was the? Oh, then 6. Then it's J&N Aquatics with an 8.
Oh, you were so close.
And
You almost
J&N,
had that nut.
do you ever sell those? So let's see. We have a new fish leader. It just scored a 46. So we have
Wow.
a official lead change. Wow. And if anybody notices if J&N says that they sell them or not, let me know. But we're going to move
Yeah,
on.
he says he has them. He has them.
Oh, how much does he sell them for?
He's not telling you.
Well, he's telling all of us. It's all right. We just wonder if they're an expensive fish or not. And I mean, don't lowball yourself.
I saw them online for not quite anywhere between 10 and 20 again. Like the most expensive one I saw was 19, but I'm not looking at particular stores. It's just online for sale. So it could be Johnny's backyard breeding stock or something for all I know.
It also could be small ones too.
Yeah, right.
Size means a lot.
I
Bigger
think the
goes
ones
for
I
a
saw
lot more.
He sells them for 14, Ed. The ones I saw for 34 were looked like they were full-size fish.
That's what I was guessing, in that range. Okay, so the next one is a nano loach, the only nano loach on this thing, even though coolie loaches are kind of nano. Well, no, because they do get bigger. This one is a true nano, the rosy loach. The rosy loach. This would be a great one in Sean's fish tanks because he's got a lot of nano tanks. But look at that pattern on that thing. That is really neat. They do. I think this one also has a lot of variants though, because I saw some with spots and some that are almost solid brown. But I really like this tiger pattern. So that's why I picked the tiger pattern. But let's see. Let's look at the rosy loach. How does it like to go? Okay, so there's different opinions. Some people say they're happy 3 to 4, and then the next guy said that they like to be in groups of 10 or more.
Holy Christ.
So, yeah. And I mean, the standard is 6 for schooling for grouped fish. So if you can't do 6, 3, the half is like normally the smallest that you want to get is 3 of something. But so maybe that's why they said 3 to 4. And then the guy saying 10, maybe he wanted to sell groups of 12. So you never know. But they're a true nano. Even though they say they get up to 1.25 inches. So they still get over 1 inch, which I was surprised to be a nano. They live about 8 years, which is a good long life for a small fish. Their temperature range is great, 68 to 79, which is super for like a fish tank at work, maybe, that sits on your desk. And their pH is awesome. They can be anywhere between 6.5 to 7.8. So they're a really nice little fish. They do a really good job on snails, but since they're so small, they only eat small snails. They're going to eat all the small things. They're not like a puffer fish and they're just going to take a little, a pea puffer is going to take a little bite out of an apple snail. Well, it'll probably just keep biting it till it dies. But still, these guys aren't even going to tackle a big snail. So I've never had them, but I'm going to give them a 7 because I think they're kind of cool. And you know what? I'd give it an 8 if I could find that tiger pattern. I'm going to give it an 8 for that tiger pattern. Okay. How do you think about these nanos, Paul?
Never had them. I'm just looking them up. They're a relatively inexpensive fish.
Yeah,
$6 to $7, $6 to $8. I've seen them.
You see that one price on them at Aquatic Arts?
Yeah, well, Aquatic Arts is out of their brain. One of the reasons I think they're not doing so well anymore.
Right.
They do well in small tanks. They are a schooling loach, so they need 5, 6 at minimum, but they'll go in a small tank. So you can do them in a you know, a 10 or a 20 long, no problem with other fish. And they are not nippy, but they are not going to go after large snails.
Yeah.
They're
not going to go after large. They aren't going to go after many of your shrimp either. Only the smallest of the shrimplets.
They go for the little ones. Yeah, it's like if you've got Amanos, the friggin' Amanos are probably bigger than these fish. I'll give them a 9.
Wow, Paul. That's your number one personal loach right now. Okay, well, Sean, what do you think about these little guys?
But you gotta get a whip.
Okay, we'll go whip.
I thought we were good.
Whoop's gonna say, I hate little fish.
It's more expensive fish food, right?
Am I going or you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you're not wrong. I will give him a 2. I don't want them. Don't have them. Don't want them. They don't do anything for me.
Well, that's fair. That's your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you like them, that's all.
Well, look what's swimming behind him, and that'll tell you what kind of fish he wants.
Yeah. Okay, Sean, what do you think?
I give them a 9. I have had them. I had a group of 9 of them.
Wow.
And I got them because I had a shrimp tank that was real bad with planaria and snails and stuff. Planaria always creeps in if I only keep shrimp in a tank. And I'm always looking for something to kind of fight the good fight against the stupid worms. Because I hate using poisons and stuff. I want something to just eat it. The trick is that
they eat it. Did they eat the planaria?
Yeah, they cleared out. They seem to clear out just about everything, and my snail population probably suffered a bit. But I discovered like keeping like big piles of rocks and stuff. Like if you've got a lot of spaces for the little shrimp to go hide in, sometimes they can hide out and be safe. But they're really interesting. You don't see them a whole lot in a big, thick planted tank. But when you go to feed, they kind of just come out of the woodwork and they're just all over the place. Mine didn't look like the picture so much. Mine had a more like rosy color, like a little pinker color to it. And I don't remember stripes. It's one of those I could barely even photograph it because it was like,
yeah,
they're so fast. They're just like all over the place.
Sees that big lens heading his way. Yikes!
I heard today, because I was doing like studies on them and stuff, doing some homework. There's like 30 types of loaches, but each type of loach, I think, has a bunch of loaches like categorized into the same name. So I think that maybe all the nano loaches are basically being thrown into the rosy loach.
Huh.
Is what I'm wondering is happening.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of guessing going on because I bet they're wild caught mostly.
Well, let's roll the dice and see who gets it. What are the odds that it's Uncle Smiley? 1 and 4.
1 and 4. Hey, Ed, your boy Skipper's in the comments there.
Hey, Skipper's on vacation this week.
He is.
Yeah,
he's doing an amazing job.
Sand from his shorts. Okay, guess who's number 1?
Pull up his shorts.
He's got sand in his shorts. Guess who's number 1? Uncle Smiley.
What did Uncle Smiley say?
A 9. And number 4 is Killer Kitty at 8.
All right. Wow. Finished strong. So it finished at 37. That 2 really killed it. But that's okay. Because we love whip. Okay. So now
I can move it up 3
see.
if you want. Get it to 40.
No,
Bring
this
balance.
it's all fair. Let's see. Now here's one. Oh wait, I missed one somewhere.
Zutalo.
I missed one of my favorites. Where'd it go?
Not the Doge.
Ooh, it's at the very bottom. We're gonna go with one of my favorites. While J&N's here, I had never had these until I met J&N. The Hill Stream Loach. The Hill Stream Loach. Now this one is also a loach that has a bunch of different types of loaches in here. What he left a whole big bag of not rotisserie. Oh my gosh, now I can't.
Wow.
It's not rotisserie. What is it called? Well, it's the one that sounds like rotisserie. Normally I can say the name of the stupid fish all the time, but he bought 14 of them at the OCA last year, and he left them under Oinky's chair. And I took them home, and I kind of grew them out for him for a few months, and then I brought them up to his house, or up to his shop, but I couldn't find 2 of them. So I ended up with 2 of them in my tank, and they're still swimming around. And now I love them so much. And he said I could just keep them, which was really nice. I'm going to try breeding them. Lady Zen, I don't know if she's here or not, but she's able to breed these guys.
Really?
And so I'm going to ask her for help, and I'm going to try to get some more and see if I can breed them. I'm going to try to get like 4, 5, or 6 or so more. But they're a neat thing. They look like fish, or not fish huggers, face huggers. They like flow, but they don't have to have flow. Let's see.
Flow, Ed. Ed, they need a lot of flow.
Maybe to breed, but mine are doing fine, and I've got them in a 40 breeder with just a sponge filter.
Yeah,
And
mine did well too, and
happy.
it had no flow until I killed the whole tank, which we won't talk about.
We won't talk about that.
But
had nothing to
you
do
need
with
to breed them.
Had
I need to
everything
put
to do
flow
with
in it.
air.
They'll go up a waterfall in Asia. They can suction cup themselves, and they're almost like an algae eater too. They'll eat algae, biofilm, but they'll also eat frozen shrimp and daphnia and pellets and flakes. So they eat everything, which is really cool. They are a huge temperature swing. They don't mind anything from 65 to 80, which is super easy. They get to 2.5 inches. They live 10 years apiece, and their pH is between 7 and 7.8. And my pH comes out of the faucet at about 7.2. So that's good for me. You like them. I think they're really cool. This is going to be my number 1 loach. And you see, I get the advantage because I know what all the loaches are. But I get to give this a 10 as my number favorite loach. And Sean, you've had these guys, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think I've seen them on your tanks.
Yeah, I had a reticulated one.
Reticulated. I was saying rotisserie. Reticulated.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
what you were.
Rotisserie. You got them on the Barbie?
Yeah. You got a little tiny barbecue. They're tiny little fish. Mine was pretty aggressive. When you go to feed, like I don't remember. I would see them chasing like the Endler females around and stuff, but they can be really difficult to catch and stuff because they're like little Roombas, and will stick right to the side of the glass and stuff. Mine ended. I still have mine actually. It's in my sump now. So he lives in the sump where he can kind of have his little lonely time.
Okay. Well,
because he was attacking all the other fish in the tank. Whenever I go to feed, he'd like run at them, and then he'd go eat. He's such a bully.
So. I don't think they're snail eaters because I have lots of snails in that tank, and I breed giant rabbit snails in there, and I see their babies in there too. But their babies come out pretty big. But still, they don't bother the snails.
They're really
They
cool
don't
to look
bother
at.
the rice fish either.
They're neat.
Fine.
But I gotta give it. I'll probably give it a 5.
Okay.
They're pretty, but difficult to deal with.
Okay. Well, Whip, have you ever had the face huggers?
I have,
Ooh.
but I took a shot and I got rid of them.
Oh,
No, I like
shot
them.
of whiskey.
They are a 10.
Wow! Holy cow!
I like them a lot. I like that because it's, I'm an older gentleman and I still get the creeps from those damn face huggers. So I had to go get one because that's what they remind me of. Yeah, get that away from me.
That's that between Whip and I went and saw Deadpool,
Yeah.
and it's that between us. But yep. Okay. Well, what say you, Paul?
They're different. They're not going to eat snails. They're different. I mean, it's a completely different looking fish. Kind of looks like alien that just popped out of somebody's stomach. They're not pricey. They're about $20 a piece, at least on Dan's. He gets $20 for them. That's for just the generic species. You can go up $75+ for one. In my opinion, they do about the same kind of work that an auto sinkless would do. Yeah. They do the biofilm, they keep the rock, they do the rock, they do the glass. So you can get a bunch of autos to do the same job for $4 or $5 a piece. So I'm going to get the autos. So for me, they're 5.
Wow. So it's 10-5, 10-5. So now it's going to be up to the crowd. Let's see if they give us a 10-5.
Let me hit stop, Ed.
Okay,
all
I'll
right,
be official until you tell me.
Make it official.
Oh, 9 and 6.
9 and 6. Okay, let me go to where I hit start.
For a minute there, I thought we had another snake eyes.
Okay, so you said 9 and 6.
Yep. I'd hate to roll those dice in the game. They get a lot of 1s.
3.
Yeah,
4,
I know.
You should play them.
Skipper is number 6, and he's giving them a 7.
Yeah.
Skipper gave it a 7.
D&D too.
And then number 9 is 1.
Well, thank you, Skipper, for hanging out with us on your
Rain and Aquatics is 10.
10. Oh.
Rain is giving them a 10.
Well, he's who got me hooked on him. So 30, 40, 47. We have a new leader. A new leader with 47. Just took over the zebra. That was a 46. So there's only 2 more. We're going to have to truck through these because we're over the hour, and these guys have got to get to work tomorrow. So
what's work?
Who's working?
What's work?
Well, Sean is. I don't know if you are or not.
Sorry, Sean.
More Sean. Okay, now here is one of my favorites. Oops, it didn't pop. The dojo.
There he is.
The dojo loach.
The danger noodle.
I loved it. If you guys watched the 2 weeks ago with Whip and I at Aquatic Aesthetics, the dojo loaches all bit my hand when I stuck my hand in the fish tank. It was really cool. Because they're like pets.
Did they leave you with fingers?
What's that?
Did they leave you with fingers?
Yeah, they just kind of nibble. But like when the fish store owner sticks his hand in there, they all fight to get on his hand. I stuck mine in there and they all took off. It's like because they knew I was a stranger. And then I like took my hand over to one and he started and then they all jumped. And like, but maybe the fish store owner's food or hands taste more like fish food. I don't know. They just probably know Rob. But dojos are fun. They get big. You might as well just read my notes on them. Dojos live 7 to 10 years. They're one of the lower lifespan guys. They grow to 10 inches long. So hey, Whip, that's a big one.
Yeah.
They like weather temperatures. They're a good one with goldfish. You know, a lot of people have a hard time trying to find a fish that goes along with goldfish, but they like 65 to 75 degrees.
Ooh.
And their pH swing is crazy. They're between 5 and 12. Literally, the pH means nothing to a dojo loach. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a fish that had that big of a swing in my life. So as long as they're wet, they're happy, I guess.
And
But,
they can survive weird temperatures too. Is that what you just said?
well, their ideal is 65 to 75. I don't know what their max is, like the max cold and max heat, but
Well, aren't they invasive up in Seattle and Washington or somewhere up there?
Yeah.
I thought that's what. Yeah.
oh, wow,
So
I didn't know that. They might be able to handle 40s or less. I don't know. Well, but I don't care about the invasiveness because I think they're neat, and I'm going to score them a 9 for being a fish that can handle anything. Okay, Sean.
You know, I've never had a dojo loach. They seem pretty spastic, and people tell me all the time about how much they love them, though. So I'm sure they're a great fish. I'm not looking to get one, especially the 10 inches long. That's pretty big for something that, like, I mean, those things I've seen them
like
flipping out in a tank. I mean, they go crazy. Is that the one they call the weather loach?
Yep, same one.
Yeah, the weather loach. Yeah.
So the weather pressure will drop, and these guys will just freak out and start moving all around and stuff. That's pretty interesting. So I give them an 8 just for being so neat. But I'm not looking to have
Mr.
one.
Tubes might like him.
Yeah, you don't like spaghetti.
Okay, Paul.
It's another one that needs, specialized tank because they get so big. If you got a big tank, it's fine. But for me, well, most of my tanks are 40 and below. It's a 1.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And they're one loach that doesn't need to be in a pack. They're fine on their own too, which is kind of neat. So you could maybe have just one in a 40, probably all right. If you just wanted them as a pet one, just throwing that out there. But okay, a 1. Wow. Okay. And
it's not a fish that interests me.
This is your big chance. This is your one of your biggest loaches. This is probably your last big loach to vote for.
Well,
it's got weird marbles.
Not as cool as the Hill Stream, but I love their little personalities. So I will balance out that 1 with a 20.
Okay.
We only go to
cut
10.
it in half and give you a 10.
Are we stuffing
cool.
the ballots here, Whip?
Hey, I'm from Chicago.
You got to make it a 19 so nobody's wiser.
You're right.
All right, I hit stop, Ed. Flip the bones, Ed.
Oh my gosh, it's 1 and 2 again.
Ed, you're not doing a good shake there, man.
I am glad we're playing D&D tonight.
Okay, so
They've definitely broken a
at
leg.
number 1,
You're right.
at number 1, giving it an 8 is Uncle Smiley.
Woo!
Uncle Smiley coming through.
Number 2 on my list, giving it a 5, is Dennis Christensen.
Denny!
Dennis. Second lowest. Now, just for fun, did anybody on that list give it a 1? Or is Paul the only grump here?
The lowest anybody gave it besides me is a 4. No, a 3. Foxy gave it a 3.
Yeah, Foxy. gave it a three.
Foxy, that's probably because she hasn't been able to get it to breed.
And then it's and there's a lot of 4s. J&N gave it a 4.
I just love their little personalities. They just seem to be like they'll cuddle up to you. Yeah, they might be biting you, but it feels like a kiss. So
Yeah, it doesn't feel bad. Well, that one got a 39, so not quite at the list. So here's the last one on the list. This one is not in the normal top 10, but every top 10 I looked at had a generic, like one of the others that we just did, just like a variant. So this one is definitely not a variant. It holds its own, and it's very unique, and I think they're cool. The horse face loach. The horse face loach. Okay.
Start.
The horse face loach. I'm planning to get some horse face loaches to put it. I want to investigate and make sure that they can handle living with rainbow fish. But I thought I'd put them in the sand in the rainbow tank, and then I'll just feed them at night. You know, when the rain, because I don't think any food will get to them is the problem with rainbows. But I think if I drop the food in, they spend most of their time under the sand, but they pop just their heads out, and that looks pretty cool. I like that about them. I've always thought they were neat. They live up to just a minute. Stop fighting. The two cats were fighting like right by my feet. They're both swinging at each other, and it's very distracting. Okay. Their temperature. Well, you know what? The temperature may throw it off. Their temperatures are cold. They like 61 to 75.
Oh.
was somebody just asking that? I thought I remembered a question.
10 inches long. They
Hey,
get
look
10
at
inches
you.
long. And they like a pH between 6 and 7. So really kind of a softer fish too. But you really should put them in sand. Don't put them on gravel. I've seen people put them on gravel so that way they can't bury themselves. But dude, if you liked living in the AC and somebody forced you to live in the desert, it would really suck. You know? So be nice to your horse face and put it in sand. And I'm going to give it a 9 because I think they're cool. I didn't realize they get to 10 inches long, so I'm going to change that to an 8. Okay. What do you say, Paul?
Like you said, they need the sand substrate because they are burrowers. So you have to be careful with them in a planted tank. They can uproot a lot of stuff. I never kept this. I just looked it up, and it if you wanted to keep it with rainbows, it comes from that part of the world. But I don't keep, all my tanks are graveled. I don't have sand, so it's not a fish that I would be keeping. So I'll just give it a 5.
Okay. It's not looking good for the horse face. Can you bail it out, Sean? Or no, Whip. We'll go around the horn and go to Whip next.
You're not going to get it bailed out by me. I'm not a fan. I hate sand, so I will never have sand strictly as a substrate.
No sand. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give it a 5.
Okay. I used to hate sand, and then I started using sand, and now I'm addicted to sand. I like sand now. It's really weird.
I've ruined so many different canister filters, and my sink is broken because of sand. Because it's my fault. I don't. I'm a bull in there, and I'm just swinging that thing around, sucking up sand when I shouldn't be. But I mean, it's still. And then the fish pick it up and spit it into the intakes, and next thing I know, the filter's dead in the water.
It's all part of some elaborate plan to get Nemo home.
Yeah, right.
Sean, what do you say? This is our last fish for the night.
I remember seeing this with you over at Aquatic Aesthetics. You and I were sitting there looking at one of these things and
Oh,
seeing how neat
yep.
they were. But those are a lot smaller than 10 inches. I think I'd have to see a full size one to
I've
determine
never seen them that big.
me either.
Actually, Aquatic Arts had them, and they couldn't figure out why they kept dying. And I was like taking a tour, and I said, "You guys got to put some sand in there." And I was like, even if you just put like a 1/4 inch so they can get half their body in there, they're not going to be stressed. And they did that, and they thanked me, but they didn't give me one. They told me like 2 weeks later, "Hey, thanks for giving us that tip. That really helped." And it's like, oh,
Now you have an opportunity to buy one.
yeah.
I would, you know what? I think they're interesting. Not so much that I'd want to have them like right now, but if I do a sand tank, usually it's got dirt, like it's going to be like a father fish, kind of dirt tank.
Cap.
So I'd be scared to put something that burrows that much into. I mean, maybe a super thick cap and it would be okay, but
See, that's why I was going to put them in the tank that I'm going to put the rainbows in, because it used to be my Geophagus tank. And all it is sand. So I thought it'd be perfect for them. And my plants, I'm just going to put in pots.
they do make the sand look nicer. Those burrowing ones, they keep the sand looking real pristine. Like I've got gobies and this one that do that, and I never see them. So I'd have to give it probably a 5 at best. Like they very, very interesting, unique looking fish that you won't see very much. It requires a lot of space and specialized substrate.
Okay, yeah. Get the bones rolling.
Okay. Oh, my old telephone turned off. Okay.
It was a cat.
I'm not doing another number 1. Okay. A 6 and an 8.
6 and 8.
Yep.
Hagen Hills is coming in at number 6, and they give them a 7.
Awesome.
Dennis
Now, who was that?
Christensen. Hagen Hills.
Oh, awesome.
Hagen Hill Design is 7. Dennis Christensen comes in at 8 and gives them a 7.
Wow, 2 7s at the end. Okay, so that's 29, and that gives it a 37. So let's give it a rundown. Our worst. Now, and you know what? Somehow, always the first fish is the worst fish. And I feel sorry for it. But that was the worst fish at 29.
He wasn't the first,
And then-
though, Ed. That was the second fish.
Well, but on my list, it was the first fish to show.
Oh, because it was Coolie Loach first.
Coolie Loach
Yeah.
first, Ed.
I know, but I went with Cooley because I just got done
Ed-
talking about Coolies with Sean before you guys got up here. And I knew he had something to talk about.
Ed got confused.
I
Ed
wanted
got
to warm
confused.
Sean into this game.
But
The Coolies got a 44. The Hillstreams got a 47. The Dwarf got a 44. The Yo-Yo a 36. People don't like the Yo-Yos. The nice Yo-Yo, Angelicus, instead of the Angelical, got a 39. The Zebras got a 46. The Rosie got a 37 because of that really bad whip score. The Dojo got a 39 because of that really bad Paul score with a 1. And the Horseface got a 37. So the number 1 is the Hillstream, which is awesome because that is a freaking cool fish.
that is a cool
And you
fish.
can breed them in your fish tanks. But thank you guys so much for coming up and hanging out with me. Sorry, ran over. We're 24 minutes over. Sorry, guys. And thank you, everybody. I'm going to go to chat for the first time tonight. Thank you guys for coming and watching us and participating. Thank you to my mods. You guys did a wonderful job of keeping everything good. I don't know what you guys did because I didn't see any of it. So maybe you didn't. but I didn't hear anybody up here freak out. So good job. And thank you to all my members of my channel. I really appreciate it. You guys help me able to keep going and making my stuff. Oh, and I see Killer. What's this? What's the sticker she gave me?
I don't have it up. It's just I just see that it's a super sticker for $5.
Thank you, Killer, for the $5 super sticker. You're awesome. And somebody else gave me one at the very beginning of the stream. Oh, nuts.
That is correct. Nancy B.
Oh, Nancy B. Thank you so much.
We got a little Bravo.
Oh,
a little Bravo.
Nice. And she gave me my favorite fox cat thing. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Killer. And guys, we'll be not doing a Whip show tomorrow. Whip is changing his time. What time are you changing your show time?
Okay, so see, what happened was I am going to move to Saturday at 2:00, but I was offered a chance to go to Chicago and see Pearl Jam tomorrow. So I am pushing that off another week, and I'm going to go Sunday at 2:00 instead.
Whip, your priorities are in the wrong spot. That's all I'm saying.
Sorry.
He was in a jam, a Pearl Jam.
Hey,
That's right.
I saw Pearl Jam like 30 years ago. Almost. It was a long time ago. It was at Point Fest in St. Louis. It's an open thing. It was awesome. I had a great time that day. So I'm sure you're going to have fun if they can still sing.
I know I'll have fun.
But that's super cool. And so what'd you say? It's at 2:30 on Sunday?
2:00 on Sunday. It's the same time as it would be on Saturday. It's going to be on Saturdays. It's going to be 2 to 4. But it's kind of nice because that same time slot is open on Sundays. So I just kick it back if something comes up on Saturday.
Well,
Until somebody fills
but
it.
Sundays are my day I watch football. So it'll be tougher for me to make Sundays. It's kind of like Sean's wife watches probably football every Saturday. Yeah. So he doesn't get to do anything on Saturday.
Yeah, well, normally it'll be Saturdays most of the time.
She got a season pass, so if it's a home game, I'm home free.
Yeah, then I can come over and play games.
Yeah, I'm over at the board game store doing nerdy stuff.
Does awesome. The NFL start this Sunday? The regular season start this Sunday?
Next week.
Sunday.
Next Thursday.
So I'm
game.
Still okay.
Yep. Next Thursday night is the first opening game of the season. Normally, I would say I'm going to still do my show, but it is the Chiefs. So if my family all goes out together to watch it together, I'm going to probably go out with my family next Thursday. So I may not have a show next week. Everybody in my family loves the Chiefs. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Maybe we'll have a Whip show then, or a Skipper show, whatever. But awesome, guys. And Paul, do you have any shows that you want to push?
Raleigh Aquarium Society, the Carolina Aquarium Workshop is going to be October 12th and 13th. It's Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be speakers on Saturday and then with a swap. And then Sunday is going to be an all-day auction. It's going to be up in Durham, North Carolina, by Duke University. So if you're free in the area, come see us. If you're going for the whole day, I think the whole program is like $45, and if you want to get a table, it's $50. They charge you $5 for the table.
You did say October 12th, right?
Yes, October 12th, 13th.
Oh,
it's Friday and Saturday. No, I'm sorry. I'm Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. So I think that'll
be the weekend after the Clash.
Yes. So,
awesome.
And it's on the campus of Duke University, so you can wander around Duke University and see where all that money goes for that higher education.
Nice. And Sean, do you have a big channel? Do you have anything special going on?
No.
In a word, no.
I have I just put out an interesting video about an aquarium from China that's doing really well. That people are like, it's kind of a smart aquarium. But I give a very very detailed review. So I'm still making long form content. The last time we got together with a bunch of people, everybody was like, "Do you still make videos?" Well, yes, I do. It's just not very often, so YouTube is not going to show you. If you'd like to go check out my channel, I try to make videos that are kind of evergreen, so you can look through my content, see if there's something you'd like to see. I plan a lot of tanks like this. This is my big project this year. I'm real proud of how it turned out. So feel free to go to PECTEC, PECKTEC, and I'll see you there.
Awesome. Well, and we will be doing the Ace Network show tomorrow on the Ace Network Talking Football, where fantasy football was great last week, and we'll be talking about that tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern, and I don't know what time that is on the Pacific, maybe like 3 o'clock. I have no idea. And so let me go to the thing.
And real quick, I put a link
yeah.
into I put a link in there for the aquarium workshop. It's in chat.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. I would love to go
It does.
I would love to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to, though, because I'll have the Clash the week before, and then I'm going back to the OCA the week, or like 3 weeks later to Cleveland.
I will be in.
Thank you guys so
Tennessee
much
that
for
weekend,
coming up.
but we're working.
Great. We'll see ya.